Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my labor and delivery story. If it's the first time watching my videos, welcome. If you have been watching my videos for a long time, welcome back. I am a new mother. My little boy Ezra is now 8 months old. I can't believe it. He was 8 months yesterday, and I'm like, wow, the time has really flown by. And on this channel I do a lot of travel, lifestyle vlogs. I do some reviews, and I'm adding mum to my umbrella. Mum life, parent life, motherhood, all of that. I'm going to be sharing products reviews of the things that I've loved, what I've used on this journey, what I'm using on this journey. So anything that I find useful, I will share with you guys. And I thought the best place for me to start is by telling you my labor and delivery story. So welcome to this video. I gave birth on March 16th 2018, and I actually gave birth in the UK. Well, the reason why I chose to give birth in the UK was because my mum is there, and I knew that I wanted to be with my family, with my mum, and have that help. I was actually originally due on March 6th 2018, but once I went for my checkups and as the baby grew, they moved my due date to the 3rd of March. And it was so hard because I was trying not to get caught up in due dates. I was like, I'm not gonna get caught up in due dates because they're just that, a due date, you know, it's just a date plucked out, and it's probably not the date you're gonna give birth, you know, like you're either gonna come early, on time, or past due. So I was thinking, okay, don't get caught up on the dates, but I couldn't help myself. Literally, I was holding on to the 6th of March like crazy. And then when they told me the 3rd, I started holding on to that day. I remember going to reception after my antenatal appointment at 39 weeks. And the guy was like, okay, I'll see you next week. And I was thinking, I was like, you ain't gonna see me next week, sorry. I'm like, I'd already had this baby. I was thinking, I'm not gonna be overdue. This baby is coming this week. Anyway, 41 weeks, I saw the guy. I was thinking, please don't say you remember me, because here I am, 41 weeks and still no baby. Literally, I was so uncomfortable. I was trying all the home remedies. I was eating pineapples to excess. I was having spicy food. I walked for miles. I remember one day I made me and Matt walk 7 miles that day. In my old 41 week pregnant self, I walked 7 miles that day. I had a hot curry, a hot curry. Nothing was working. This baby was like, no, I ain't coming. And for those that don't know, I didn't know the sex of the baby. We waited to find out once the baby was born. That was our last hooray. So the whole time we didn't know what we was having. I was convinced it was a girl, and Matt, I think I convinced Matt it was a girl. You know what, I didn't care about it's gonna be a boy or girl. I just wanted a healthy baby and myself to leave the hospital at the end. As I was 41 weeks at this point, so I was a week overdue. When I went to that antenatal appointment, they said to me that I could come in and be induced. And I was thinking, there won't be any need of that because baby's gonna come, you know, like, I'm telling you, like, induction was never in my birth plan. Like, I never thought I was gonna get induced. I never even thought about induction. I read about it, I was aware of it, but I just never, that wasn't me. I was like, this baby is coming. My body knows what to do. Well, my body just didn't go into labor. So I went into the hospital on the Monday of that week that I gave birth. I went on Monday for them to check the baby to make sure that the placenta is still working well, that the baby's heartbeat is strong, the baby's comfortable. We did all that, and baby was mwah. Baby was, Ezra was like, yeah, what's up? I'm good. I'm fine in here, you lot. So after having that check and everything was fine, at 41 plus 2 days, they said to me that I could actually call in and set myself up for an induction that week, like the next day. So she was like, when do you want to come in for an induction? I was a bit like, tomorrow? And she was like, okay then, so just call the ward tomorrow at 8 a.m. and ask them if they have a bed and you can come in. I was like, oh, okay. I was thinking like she's gonna be offering me induction like, you know, later that week, but she was like tomorrow, and I was like, oh god, it all set in like I could have this baby like really soon. At this point I was still thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go into labor myself, you know, like this is, I wouldn't need to make that phone call. I'm gonna go to labor tonight. Every time I went to bed I thought, tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. Tonight wasn't the night. I left the hospital. She gave me the number that I needed to call. So how it works in the UK, they'll let you go up until 42 weeks if you are low risk and you have no you're low risk basically. I was low risk. The baby was fine. The placenta was fine. The fluid, everything was fine. So I was low risk. So they would have let me go up until 42 weeks, which would have been the Saturday. And right now it's Monday. So I was like, I could wait it out and maybe my body will go through. But actually, the next day I called and I was like, I'm gonna call, I'm just gonna get induced. Like I was tired, my body was tired, I was ready to have a baby, like I was ready for it. I make the call in the morning at 8 o'clock, and then the midwife says to me, oh no, you need to call back at 11. I was like, oh god, well the person told me at 8. Anyway, call back at 11. No, she said I need to call back at 12. So I was like, okay then. I was like to Matt, I need to call back at 12. So fine. 11 o'clock, Matt is like, ring now. And I'm like, babes man, no, they said 12. And he's like, no, ring now. And I was like, no, I'm not ringing right now. 11:20. Ring now, babes. Just because they said 12, you don't have to wait that time. So I was like, okay. I rang at 11:20. So I was like, hi. Gave him my name and they had me on the list. They were like, yeah, you can come in. I was like, okay, thanks. My heart dropped. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna go in and get induced. At that point I burst into tears. I was like, oh my god. It was a mix of like, it's gonna happen right now, and a mix of like, why did my body like go into labor itself? I was disheartened. I was like sad. I was like, I'm born to do this. Like, why did my body do it itself, you know? And I could have waited. I could have gone until the end of the week, but I don't know if I was gonna go to the end of the week and I would have gone into labor myself, or I would have gone to the end of the week and still had to be induced. So I don't regret being induced, because at the end of the day, at the forefront of my mind was a healthy baby. Called an Uber and we went into the hospital. We went in, we checked in, we sat down, and we're like, okay, we're gonna start your induction like 6. And I was like, okay. So she was like, you can just go and walk up and down the stairs. So I was like, okay. So I went round, walk in, I went and had lunch, blah, 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 blah. Came back at 6 and they started my induction. So what they did was put a Ploplus, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it's like a little, it looks like a small tampon. It's about the size of your fingers, about that big. It's flat, and they basically put it on the back of your cervix. And what it's meant to do is artificial hormone that you would produce yourself if you went into labor. So they give you that on the little tampon thing. They put it behind your cervix, and then it's meant to just like start labor. So I had that done, and then what they do after they've put that in, they monitor the baby to make sure that the baby is not reacting badly. So what they were going to do, they were going to offer me the I can't say it, I think it's Proplus. They were going to offer me that drug twice, and then if I didn't go into labor after that, then they would escalate it and then give me something, oxytocin, I think. They would give me something else, which is Pitocin. So I was like, okay. I was thinking, oh, I hope it works, because I'm not trying to escalate this. I'm like, I've come this far, I need to do it. So anyway, we spent the night at the hospital that day, all night. I was thinking it's gonna happen. No, all I did was go to the toilet. I was just emptying my bowels. Sorry, TMI, but this is what happens. It was just making me go to the toilet. So like just emptying my bowels like the whole night. Anyway, at one point, it was about 3 a.m. I remember writing the notes. And then I wrote on at 5:40 a.m. that the little tampon thing fell out. It fell out. Oh, I was like, what? So I remember it falling out, and then I was like, oh my god, I think I wiped too hard. So basically they put the little tampon thing inside you, but it has a string. That's why I refer it to like a tampon thing. It has a little string that hangs out of you like a tampon. And when I was wiping, I basically accidentally pulled it out, and I was like, oh crap, I wasn't meant to pull that out. Like, it should have been really far back. I don't know how I pulled it out, but I basically, so I had to go, I went to tell the midwife that it's come out, and I was like, oh, hi, and I was like peeping around the corner. She was like, come in, we've seen it all, we've seen it all. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, no, you have not seen it, you have not seen mine. So I was like, okay, hi. I was like, this is falling out. She was like, okay, don't worry about it, go back to bed, and then we will basically put another one on at 6 a.m. And I was like, okay. So, you know, she came back, I think she came back around 7 a.m. or something. Anyway, this nurse, it was a different midwife. This midwife was like a young Somali girl, which, oh my God, I'm so thankful for this midwife. I'll tell you more about her later. But she basically reinserted a new tampon D thing, Plus, but this time she said to me, oh, I've got small hands, don't worry, you won't even feel it. She was lying. Oh my God. She put that thing in, I jumped. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, oh, I told you my hands were small. I was like, you are taking the piss right now. Anyway, as soon as she put that thing, I started to feel different. I was like, I don't know what she did, but she inserted the thing properly, okay? If the lady before had inserted it the same way Dr. Nazrin put it in, I would have basically given birth that night. But oh my God, when I'm telling you that first contraction hit, you know when they say that, or you hear people tell you if this is your first time giving birth that the contraction feels like period pain, is a lie. Don't feel like that. It's an undescribable pain. It's not like period pain. I think that's just the easiest way to describe it. It's like a bad period pain. It's worse. It's worse. When the first contraction hit, I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I was all over the place. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. So anyway, let me take it back a little bit. So when Nazrin checked me after so Nazrin went home, a new set of midwives came and they checked me. So all night after having the old Plus in, I had dilated 1 centimeter. Yeah, 1 centimeter. So when Nazrin put the new Plus in, and then the new sets of midwives checked me, I had gone from 1 to 3 centimeters within a space of an hour and a half. Like, I was, so I was about 3 centimeters now. And then I called my mum. I remember I'd spoken to my mum that morning, and I was like, oh, it's okay, mum, they've put it in, nothing's happening, so you can go to work, and then, you know, I'll let you know when it's happening, because my mum doesn't work far. So I was like, you can come to the hospital. And she was like, Maureen, there's no way I can go to work. I've called in, I've told them I cannot come into work, you're going into labor. I can't think, I can't do anything. I need to be on standby. When you tell me to come, I'm coming. So I called my mum and told her, mum, that I've 3 centimeters dilated. My mum was there within 5 minutes. I don't know how she got so quick to the hospital, but she was there 5 minutes. Mum was there. But at this point, because I wasn't in labor, they would only allow 1 person in the ward. So Matt had to step outside when my mum came in. So when my mum came in, that's when the contractions had just started. So Matt went out. So when I had the first contraction, I was sick my breakfast, I just vomited, and then my waters broke. So my waters broke and I was being sick at the same time. And that's when I was like to the midwife, please, can you check me? So she checked me, and then she said I was 3 centimeters dilated. So I was like, oh my God, Matt, call my mum. And this time I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I was all over the place. Anyway, I needed to go to the toilet bad. Like, I needed to go to the toilet. So I was like, mum, please take me to the toilet. So we go to the toilet. Every time I went to sit down, I had a contraction. We tried about 4 times. I would sit, contraction. So I had to stand up, lean over the sink. She's rubbing my back. And then I'll sit again, ready to go. Nothing was coming out. And then another contraction would hit, and I'd be like, oh, I have to stand up again. Anyway, so we went back to the bed, and I was like to Matt, can you get me one of those, you know, like the fitness balls? the birthing balls, which I already had, but I didn't bring mine, but they had some there. So he brought me one, and I was trying. Honestly, it was so uncomfortable. Once the contractions hit, it's like nothing like calms you. Like, I'm trying to stand, I'm trying to sit, I'm trying to walk, like it's nothing was working basically. Anyway, so time passed, and my mum was there. My mum was in full player mode, and so from the time my mum walked into that room, the prayers started to drop. She was holding me, and all I could hear was just prayer, prayer, prayer. See, this is why I needed my mum around. She was praying, praying, praying. So I'm in the bed now, like the contractions are bad. So I'm like to the lady, please can I have gas and air? In the UK, they give you gas and air before you head down to epidural stages. Like, they were like, you know, gas and air. So she was like, I can't give you gas and air yet, because if I give it to you too early, the effects are gonna die off, and you might need it later on in labor. So I was like, what? I was waiting for gas and air. Like, I wanted gas and air, like I needed it then. But she was like, nah, you can't have it. She gave me a paracetamol. She said it was stronger than a paracetamol. It's gonna take 20 minutes to kick in. 40 minutes later, I said, when is it going to kick in? And she was like, oh, it should kick in soon. She was gassing me. This thing never kicked in, okay? Anyway, so I said to the midwife, I remember her name was Frankie. I said to her, please, can you check me? Something's changed, please check me. Right now it's probably about 11:30, you know, like it's 11:30, probably midday. I was like to her, please check me, please check me. She was like, if I check you, she was like, I can't keep, this is her exact words, I can't keep checking you. If nothing's changed, I can't keep checking you. So I'm gonna check you now, but I can't keep checking you. So I was like, okay, but still check me. I need you to check me now. So she checked my cervix again. I am 5 centimeters. Booyah. Look, I wasn't lying. I knew something had changed. So anyway, 5 centimeters. When it gets to 5 centimeters, you can go down to delivery ward, okay? So when she got to the 5 centimeters, she was like, oh my God, you're 5 centimeters. You're laboring really quickly. I was like, I told you. Anyway, she was like, I'm gonna call the delivery suite to check if they have a bed for you, and then we'll go down. Anyway, she called them, and then at this point she said, you can have the gas and air. Oh Lord. I was like, I was sucking up that thing, and you know what? The gas and air was actually helping. I don't know how, but it was actually helping. So she called the delivery suite downstairs, because we was upstairs at this point in this particular hospital. We went downstairs, and I got into the delivery suite. My mum and Matt could both come into the delivery suite, and we was just down there. I was still on the gas and air. I was still dilating. By the time the midwives had done their handover from upstairs to the delivery suite, I was now 8 centimeters. I was like, yeah, look at me. So I was 8 centimeters. I was still enjoying the gas and air, and Matt was giving me loads of water, because the gas and air makes your mouth like Sahara Desert. So Matt was giving me loads of water, bless him. I was like, he was giving me water, and every time I took a puff of the gas, he would give me water, and then he had the towel. He would pat in my head with a towel. He was a gem. So my mum was there, she was there, you know, they were changing over. One person, mum would come up, and then Matt would sit, and then, you know, they were changing over. It was a great team. Anyway, so 8 centimeters, and then so all the time they're monitoring the baby, and then at one point, you can hear Ezra, at one point all the alarms go off, and I'm like, oh my God, why is the alarms going off? Like, the heart rate starts to drop. Ezra's heart rate starts to drop, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So the midwives are like, oh, it seems that the baby is distressed. And I was like, oh, okay. So they were like, okay, we need you to turn. I was laying on my back, so they were like, we need you to turn, try different positions, get up, go on your fours, like change around to see if the baby heart rate would come back down again. And it didn't, like, it just wasn't, like, she wasn't regulating. So she clicked the panic button. Oh Lord. When they click the panic button, the doctors come barging in. And I'm like, oh, here comes the doctor. Two doctors came in or something, and they were like, sweetheart, the baby's heart rate is dropping, it's not regulating, you're contracting so fast that the baby is getting, you know, it's just, what's the word she used? The baby's getting like restless almost, like, so they were like, you know, you're contracting too fast for the baby, so what we're gonna do is give you an injection which is gonna slow down your contraction. Honestly, at that point, like, I was just like, I need this baby to come out alive and well, and I need to be fine. So I was like, whatever you need to do, do it. Both of us, me, Matt, mom, was like, just do it, just do whatever you need to do. So they inject me with a drug that basically stopped my contractions. They were like, they injected me with the drug and it basically completely stopped my contractions, and the only way to bring back the contractions is to give you Pitocin, which is the 3rd level drug that I could have had upstairs. Remember, I mentioned that earlier. And then they said, basically, we have to wait quite a while now, like a couple hours, for you to just come back down to level before we give you the Pitocin to bring back the contractions again. But what she did say is it brings back the contractions a lot stronger. And I was like, I was thinking in my mind, what, stronger than upstairs? I was like, there's no way, there's no way. So basically she said it brings the contractions a lot stronger. So what we advise for you to do is to have, you know, an epidural. You can have an epidural. And you know what, in my whole birth plan, in my whole thought in mind, epidural was never in my birth plan. It was never in my mind. I never thought of it. I didn't want to depend on it. I didn't want to think about it, because I wanted to just do it with gas and air. Like, I originally wanted a water birth. If I went into labor myself, I was gonna have a water birth. Said they were gonna come on stronger, and at this point I'm tired, because I've been now in labor for probably about 10 hours at this point. And I was like, okay, give me the epidural. So I had the epidural, they fitted it in, and you have to be completely still. They put it on the back of your spine, you have to be completely still. And I had a contraction between when I was having the epidural, which is normal. You can get contractions when you're having, when they're putting in the epidural. And I had one, and I remember, like, I was thinking this epidural could basically mess up my whole back, so I cannot move. That's the one time I kept still during a contraction. I was like this. I did not move. This was a contraction going through me. I didn't even flinch. He fitted it in, and I was like, okay then, well now I shouldn't be able to feel my lower half, because, you know, man got the epidural in it. It didn't work. I'm telling you, no lies, the epidural did not work. I could still feel every contraction. And you know what, it was so disappointing, because I had my, like, after they've told me about the epidural, I was like, okay, boom, we're doing the epidural, so give me it. I don't want to feel anything now. And then I'm still feeling it. I was like, this is a flaw, this is fraud. I need the new anesthesiology to check my epidural, because it's still not working. She took it off, she fitted me a new one, and the thing worked. Ooh. I felt my legs just disappear. It was good times, good times. Sorry, I take that. It was good times, good times. You know, it was just, I was talking, I was doing everything. I was loving life. Anyway, so now just waiting for the contractions to come up and for me to dilate. I wasn't feeling a contraction. I could see them on the monitor when I was having one, but I wasn't feeling anything. Everything was beautiful. So I was just swaying, and I was waiting for myself to get to the 10 centimeters, and then we can start pushing. She checked me and I was 10 centimeters now. And then she said, it's time to push. And I was like, oh my God, it's now. Because I had the epidural, I couldn't feel the natural contraction and my body telling me to push. And the thing is, I had felt that feeling when I was upstairs, when I was 5 centimeters. I could feel my body pushing the baby, and now we're telling me it's too early to push, do not push now. So I know what that feeling feels like when your body's bearing down with you and then you're pushing. So now when I have the epidural, I couldn't feel that feeling, so I just had to get guided pushing, which is when the midwife tells you when the contraction is coming. she tells you when it's about to happen, and then you're meant to push right through the contraction and then take a break when the contraction goes. So she said just bear down, like she said just push like you're having a big poo. So I was bearing down, I was holding down, I was pushing. My veins in my head had popped out, like I was pushing. Anyway, we did that for an hour and a half. No baby. Literally, the baby was doing this, rocking and back, rocking and back, rocking and back. The midwife said to me, I'm just gonna get a doctor in, and I was like, okay. So the doctor came in, and the doctor said that you've done a really great job so far. And I was thinking, okay, but the baby still ain't here though, so my job ain't that great. She was trying to assist me with the birthing. She was gonna put a cap on Ezra's head, and then pull him out. So she'll pull while I push. So she did that. She put the suction cap on Ezra's head, and I remember her pulling, and I was pushing. So she was pulling, and I'm pushing, pulling. She pulled out, and she came back out with a suction cup with no baby. I was like, Lord Jesus. And that's when she said, your perineum is too thick, we need to give you an episiotomy in order for me to be able to fit another suction cap, so I have two, and then it'll give me more room to push the baby. To cut, she cut. I couldn't feel nothing because she gave me a local anesthesia. So I was already, obviously I couldn't feel anything anyway because I had the epidural, but she injected me with the anesthetic anyway, and then I couldn't feel anything. So she cut, and then she put the suction things on the baby, and she went push, and then she yanked him out, and boom, I heard Ezra go, ah! And oh my God, as soon as I heard him cry, I just burst into tears. My mum burst into tears, Matt burst into tears. It's a cry fest. And the midwife was like, congratulations, you did it. And then they put the Ezra on me, they put the baby on me. And one of my birth wishes on my birth plan was that Matt told me the sex of the baby instead of the midwife telling me the sex of the baby. And I remember Matt saying, babe, Ezra wants to meet you. God, I'm gonna cry. He said, babe, Ezra wants to meet you. And I remember saying, who is Ezra? I was so confused. I was like, who is Ezra? Because like we had already obviously picked the names, but because of all these drugs and everything that's happening, I didn't know who Ezra was. I just said, is it a boy or is it a girl? Like, what is it? And he said, he said, it's Ezra. And I just lifted up Ezra's legs, and I saw it was a boy, and I was just like so happy. I was crying, my mom was crying, and it was just the most amazing thing ever. And I remember in that moment just being so thankful, and just being so thankful to experience carrying a child, birthing a child, even with help. I don't need a medal to say I did it all by myself. I was so thankful for medicine. I was thankful to have my mom, to have my husband, and to just be in a safe environment, and to have survived giving birth. I was just thankful for the opportunity. I'm just thankful for the experience. I'm so thankful even to this day. And I say from the time I just wish this for every mother that wants to have a baby and carry a child. I just wish this for them, because it's an amazing feeling. It was just life-changing when they put Ezra on me, and he just cried, and I put him on my boob, and it was just it was amazing. It was, as you can tell, it's really, really emotional. And this is why I wanted to share the story, to say that it might not go to the plan that you have. Just trust the doctors. Obviously trust the doctors, but do ask questions. Don't just go with whatever they're saying, but ask questions, but trust them, because they are but the professionals. If you have any questions at all about anything that I mentioned, leave it down in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you're about to give birth, I hope I haven't scared you. You can do it. You are born to do this. Just trust your body and trust the medicine, and you will do this. And if you're not pregnant yet and you're thinking about pregnancy in the future, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope it's just a wonderful experience. Guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel, sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the little bell so you get a notification anytime that I do post a new video. I love you guys. I'm so thankful that you watch me, and watch me where there's a pool of so many other people that you could be watching. So I'm truly grateful, and I hope you enjoyed this labor and delivery story. Until next time, love to all. Mwah.